Good morning, my stamping friends. This is Angie with Too Cool Stamping. We are here live today with our weekly class. We're going to do a couple of different projects today. It is such an exciting week. Have you gotten the new catalog? Have you seen that it's live now? You can order from the new catalog. I'm so excited about that. I know this is all backwards, but if you don't have a catalog, then let me know and I'll make sure I can get one to you. Also, I'm so excited because I expedited my catalog order that I placed. I'm going to get that later today. I was hoping that maybe I could get it before this, but the timing didn't work out. But next week I will have lots more stuff to show you. Might do a little sneak peek, not really a sneak peek, but a little reveal, I guess, of some of the new things that I've gotten. So that will be fun. But in the meantime, before we get going with our projects today, I just wanted to remind you that I have a couple of cool things going on with the release of the new catalog to kind of help you get some of the new products in your hands but not break the bank, because I don't know about you, but I'm looking at the catalog and my wish list is huge and you know you can't get everything all at once, and you don't need to. You can't use everything all at once. But every year I do an in color club, and that is something that is going on right now. You can sign up to reserve your spot in the in color club. I look for 5 people to come together in a group, and then each month you will get a different new in color sent to you for just $42 for the month. So that lasts for 5 months, and then you would get, for example, if your month was Seaside Spray, you're going to get the cardstock, the ink, the refill, the marker, the designer series paper, and the ribbon, all to match and coordinate with that Seaside Spray. And you'll get each color, one color every month. So that's really awesome. One of those months you're going to get an extra bonus. You're going to get the faceted dots that are the in colors that will help you make your projects too. And every month you're also going to get one card design, and you'll get 4 each of the one card design. You'll get all the products to make that, so you can use the items that you get in your kit for the month to make 4 of the same design. So I have Seaside Spray. I had a different Facebook Live for this one several weeks ago to introduce all of the new in colors, but you can get an idea of all of the different cards that will be sent to you over the course of 5 months. So that is going on right now. I have several groups already signed up. I'm still looking for new people. We have a partial group. I think we have 1 more person for the current group that needs to get going with that, that we need before we can get going with that. So please sign up. I know you're going to have a lot of fun with that. You know you want the in colors. The in colors are like the #1 thing on my list every year. And it's so much fun to take those new in colors and combine them with other colors from our current selection and see all the fresh new trendy combinations that we can get with those new in colors. So you know you want to do that. Again, that's $42 a month over the course of 5 months. There is an extra charge for some shipping. You can go to my website, toocoolstamping.com, and it will have all the details there. And I hope you can join me, because I think we're going to have a lot of fun. Now, I also have another special going on right now, and that is my Too Cool paper share. This is another thing I do every year when the catalog is released, because people want to get their hands on all of the cool new designer series papers. And of course, if you buy all of the papers, it's going to cost you like over $250. And you know, it's just not reasonable. So I do a paper share each year. I gather a group of 8 people, actually several groups of 8 people together, and we share all the papers. So I buy all the papers, I cut it up into 6x6 sheets and share those among 8 different people. So essentially this year you're going to get 131 sheets, 6x6 sheets of all of the brand new papers, every single one of them. And you'll also get some bonus pieces too. I'm going to give you a sample of the new mini shipping boxes. So cute. You're going to get a copper treat bag so you can see what that looks like, and also a sample of the scalloped note cards and envelopes. Those are so sweet, and I just want to make sure you have a copy or a sample of those. So those are coming as little bonus pieces in your paper share. But the reservations are open right now. Sign up. Once we get groups of 8 filled, then your paper share is on, and then I will just send you an invoice for $42, and we will get that paper on order, and then you'll get a stack of the 6x6 papers to use. It's a great way to not only have every single paper and be able to play and have so many possibilities when you're creating, it also gives you a chance to see them in person. And I know a lot of times it takes seeing them in person to really appreciate how pretty they are. And you can figure out which ones you like the best, and then you can order full packs of the ones that you like the best. So it really helps you make purchasing decisions when you're buying your paper. So look for the details at my toocoolstamping.com blog, and you can also hit the registration link right there as well. Both of those are open in Color Club and Paper Share. Okay, everybody, let's get going with our projects today. We're going to be focusing on the Sailing Home stamp set. I absolutely love the stamp set. It's a beautiful masculine set that it's perfect for this time of year, obviously with Father's Day coming up. You could order it right now. You'd still have just enough time to get a card made before Father's Day. It usually takes about 5 business days to get to me, so I would say between 5 and 7 business days at the most. So you'll have just enough time if you order it right away, and hopefully you will like today's cards, and maybe you can make them. It'll be so much fun. Okay, let me flip the camera around and we will get on with our project. So hold on. Okay. Let me get it set up a little bit better. Turn on some lights here. So I wanted to also mention, with the new month, we have a brand new host code that's available when you place an order. So this month, when you place a $75 order with me at toocoolstamping.com at the Shop Now link, you will get a package of the cool new in color faceted dots. I love these dots. We had the same thing, a similar thing in the past catalog, just in some different color variations, but these are all of the brand new in colors, so you'll definitely want to get your hands on that. So place an order with me using the host code G3SG2XW6, and you will get those as a little thank you gift from me in June. Okay, let's get started with the Sailing Away projects today, or Sailing Home, not Sailing Away, it's Come Sail Away Suite, and the Sailing Home stamp set. I wanted to point out something in the catalog. I don't know if you noticed this. The catalog is so awesome this year because sometimes you can't find the bundles very easily, and they're kind of hiding on the page. But if you start on page 4 through 11, you'll see that all of the bundles are listed here, and it tells you exactly where to find all of the information. So for example, the Sailing Home bundle is right here at the bottom of page 11. It shows you the stamp set plus the framelits is what the bundle is, what is in the bundle. Gives you a cute little sample here, which is different than the sample you're going to find. And then it says go to page 45 for the entire, or 145 for the entire suite. So then we go here, and then it has a beautiful picture of a bunch of different samples for the suite, and then kind of a table of contents for all of the different pieces of the suite. So the Sailing Home stamp set, it tells you it's on the next page. The dies are in the back of the book near the die cutting pages. There's an embossing folder, designer series paper. It has all the different pages listed there so that you can find everything easily. And the other thing that's really cool is up at the top, you'll see a suite number. So if you want to purchase everything in the whole suite, you can just go to the suite number 152175. That will give you everything that you see here in the suite. And that just makes it super convenient when you're placing an order. obviously you can order a la carte as well. Okay, so I wanted to point that out because I just love that feature. It makes it so easy to find the bundles that you're looking for. And remember, you save 10% when you purchase your bundles together with the die set or the punch that they're with. Okay, the Sailing Home stamp sets we're going to be working on. And I am going to start out with some Night of Navy cardstock here. This is just a traditional size with the 5.5 by 8.5 and fold it in half. So that's going to be our background for this one. I'm going to put this out of here. We have too much of a glare going on. Okay, next we're going to do a special technique that I haven't done in quite a while. I'm actually casing myself. I don't have the card anymore, but I was looking for some different ideas on my blog, and I found this one. I thought it would look really awesome with this project. So for today, we're going to start with a, let's see, I think this is a 3, what is it? It's a 3 3/4, yeah, 3 3/4 by 5 piece of Whisper White. And I want to have a 1-inch strip that I'm going to mask off. So I already have a piece here of just regular white cardstock. And I've added just a couple of dabs of snail. I don't know if you can see that, but just a couple of dabs of snail. And then I rub them on my jeans or, you know, touch them with my fingers so they're not as sticky. If you have some type of a temporary adhesive or wax dots, we used to have wax dots. There's some temporary Tombow out there. This is what you're going to use on here if you have that. But if you don't, you can just use regular snail and then just take some of the sticky off with your fingers. So I'm going to add that to my card area. Let's see. I want that to be, I'm going to use my grid paper for this. This grid paper is awesome. You can line your card up, and then I'm going to have everything lined up top to bottom. Your piece of scrap paper that you want to make sure that it's nice and long so that it goes over your piece that you're working on. And then I have another piece the same, and I'm going to do that about 1 inch away. And again, that grid paper is helping me line that up very nicely. So I'm just going to push that down so my little tacky snail pieces are holding that in place. Then I'm going to use my sponge daubers, and I'm going to add in some beautiful coloring to that. So this is a masking technique. I'm going to start with, let's start with some Balmy Blue. And I'm using the sponge daubers. Here's a little tip. I have so many sponge daubers, and I like to actually have one for each color because it just makes it easier. You don't have to clean them every time. So I just take a little piece of the cardstock color that it's for, and I just use some, 3M Scotch tape and adhere that to it. But now I know that that's Balmy Blue. You might even write it on there. Some of the colors are really close, and so it might help to write that on there. So I'm just going to take my Balmy Blue and get a little bit of color on that. And then I'm going to just very lightly start adding color to the bottom. Remember, if you push down really hard, you're going to get a big blotch, and you don't want that. So we're going to just do light blending. And I'm sorry, I'm going to probably be shaking the camera a little bit. And I also like to hold these in place. Just because we have a little bit of tack there, it doesn't mean they're going to necessarily stay in place. I'm also going to go parallel with the lines instead of this way, because if we're going this way, it's probably going to shift that masking. So just kind of hold it in place with your fingers and add a good amount of color. So that was Balmy Blue. Next, we're going to add Pool Party. Same thing. This time we're going to add this at the top. So I'm going to hold this in place again. This one went down a little bit better. The reason is because since I don't have to clean this every time, there's still a little bit of leftover ink in there that kind of gets rejuvenated when I start to use it again. My Balmy Blue is a newer color and I haven't used that as much. So it was a little drier and I had to put a little more ink on it. Okay, next we're going to use a brand new in color, Seaside Spray. I think this one is my favorite one right now for today. You know, it always changes. So we'll add a little bit of that. We're going to connect these two colors and just kind of blend them out. You can see how I go clear into the Pool Party. I am going to go clear into the Balmy Blue so we get a nice soft blending of color. If you have little splotches, just add a teeny bit more color. Just keep layering that on there. That'll help to blend it and even it out. Okay, are you ready for the reveal? Let's see what it looks like. I love masking, and when you take this off and see what it looks like, it's so, so pretty. Now, I'm going to just save these. As you see, I've been using them, and you can just save them and use them over and over if you're going to be doing several cards like this. Also, I see I have a little bit of adhesive that's left over there, and I have a little adhesive remover. We used to sell this with Stampin' Up. We don't anymore, but this is really handy to have on hand. You can probably just get it off with your finger, but this just really cleans it up very easily. So this is our cute little mask. We're going to stamp over the top of that with some of our Sailing Home images. And we're going to use Night of Navy ink for that. So let's start with this really pretty large sailboat image. Love that. And we're just going to sail this guy, about right here. Next, we're going to add the smaller sailboat, and this one's going to go about right here. I love how we're just overlapping just a little bit. Then we have to add these little birds. The seagulls are flying around. So all of that is a Night of Navy. And let's add a sentiment as well. See how easily this is coming together really quickly. Now here's another tip I want to show you. I have my cling stamps, which I love. They stay on the block so well. So I'm loving that. But sometimes when you are putting the sticker on, they don't quite get lined up exactly. So I like to use my grid paper, and I kind of eyeball on the grid paper whether it is straight. So I do kind of a test stamp. And this one actually seems like it's not too bad. I might need to, let me see. It's hard to do. I had it too far up. It was hard for me to see. I think I need to just turn it just a little bit. It gives you an idea if you have one end up a little bit too far. So there we go. There is our sentiment. We're going to layer that onto a mat of Seaside Spray, and we just want it to peek out a little bit. So it's the 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And we will adhere that with some snail. Okay, and before I adhere that, I want to wrap it with some of the brand new nautical twine that we have in this beautiful suite. It's called, I guess it's just called Baker's Twine, but it comes in the Come Sail Away suite. It's nice and thick. Reminds you of the ropes that you would be tying your boat to the pier or to the dock. Just going to tie that in a double knot and trim that off. And then I really like the look of a frayed edge, so I'm just going to unravel these ends just a bit. There's just something about that that makes it seem like a more nautical. I don't know. Do you like frayed edges? All right, so there's a little accent piece. And then I wanted, since this is just one layer, which a lot of times I like a lot of different layers, but this one you don't need all of that. So I'm just going to pop that up with some dimensionals just to add a little bit of height to the card because, I don't know, I'm crazy. And if you have any trouble getting the backing off, if you just put your fingernail right in the center of the dimensional, it kind of helps the edges pop up a little bit so you can grab onto them really easily. Okay, we'll mount that on our Knight of Navy cardstock. Oh, one thing I was going to do that's different, and I should have done it before I mounted all that on there. I did one like this earlier, and then I thought, why not try to color that in a little bit? And so I've had my Stampin' Blends markers, and I'm just going to add a little bit of, oh, hold on one second, I forgot my crumb cake marker. I was bound to forget something, right? So I like this this twine is Sahara Sand and Knight of Navy. So I wanted to bring in a little bit of that coloring to this card just to kind of have that match a little bit better. So I thought, why not add just a little bit of the light crumb cake Stampin' Blends. It gives a little more pop to these sailboats and a little more interest. So I just am coloring those lightly with the light crumb cake. And then let's do light balmy blue for the boat. Actually, I might do two different colors. We'll do balmy blue down here. And then we'll do the light, what is this one? Dark Pool Party for this one. Just kind of makes it pop just a little bit. What do you think about that? Did you like it plain better? I don't know. Kind of like it both ways, but okay, now let's finish it up. You know, I have to have a little bling. So we are going to use some rhinestones, and I want to color coordinate those a little bit. So I'm going to color with my, what do I have here? Light Bermuda Bay. And I'm using the bullet tip end, just kind of go around and around lightly on a couple of these rhinestones. And I'm going to finish up with, this one is the light Knight of Navy. And we'll add another pop of color on there. And then I'm going to use my paper piercer, which is now retired. It's my favorite way of getting jewels off of the paper. There's also the Take Your Pick tool, which is a fabulous way to do it. I don't know, old habits die hard, I guess. So I'm just going to add a few of these jewels to there for a little pop. Ta-da! Aw, I love that. Sail in the direction of your dreams. And this would really make a perfect graduation card. I know that I have a graduation that I need to attend. A couple, actually. Had one last weekend and one this coming weekend. And so this is perfect. It's the perfect sentiment for that. And I'm going to add a little sailing home anchor. This is the inside of my card. I'm going to color that with some pool party blends just to give it another little pop of color. Oops, I'm not coloring in lines very well. That's what happens when you're live on camera. Okay, let's add that to the middle of our card, inside of our card. And then we'll be done. You could even add a little pocket on the inside and make it a gift card holder for your grad. Isn't that cute? Love that. Now I made another version, my Too Cool version. And this one, I used the lighthouse from the same Sailing Home stamp set and just added the sentiment above here. I probably should have added some of the birds on here. The seagulls would have kind of completed that a little bit better, I think. But I love how that just looks really pretty there with the lighthouse on most of the masked area. Oh, and the masking is a little different too. I used the Seaside Spray, Pool Party, and Crumb Cake at the bottom. So it kind of looks like land and then the sky behind it. This one I did more like water. So just a little bit different. Very awesome. And then the inside of this one, I just put one of the compass images from the stamp set. And these are just with the stamps that we're doing it. There's also dies that come with it, and there's just so much versatility with this stamp set, and it's kind of a must-have because there's not a whole lot of masculine stamp sets, and this one really has a lot of possibilities. Okay, that's our first card for today. Our second card, we are going to use the same stamp set. And I'm going to start, whoops, did I lose my rhinestone? I found a little rhinestone. Did I lose one? Must have fell off of my card already. Okay, the next card is going to be starting with Sahara Sand, and it's vertically folded. So it's 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5 1/2. So that will be our card base. And we're going to do some fun 2-layer stamping. And I'm going to use that same little technique where I'm doing a little bit of temporary adhering. So just a couple little dabs of the snail on the back just to kind of tack it into place. I'm going to use my grid paper again. This is a little bit less than 5 1/4. So just like, I'm not 5 1/4, 4 1/4. So it's like 4 1/8, let's say. And it is 3 inches high. And I'm going to put this other piece on it, which is also 3 inches high, and it's 2 1/2 wide. So both of these are Whisper White. We're just going to layer those together. Did you see what I did there? There we go. You can kind of get an idea. So now we have 2 layers, and we're going to stamp on those. So we're going to start with that same sentiment, set sail in the direction of your dreams, and we're going to put that up in the corner. I'm going to see how this is again. Yeah, I need to just kind of twist it. So that's up in the corner of the smaller piece on top. That's going to help with the positioning of the rest of the stamps. Next, I'm going to add the large sailboat again. Whoops, that makes the camera really shake, doesn't it? And I'm stamping on the top sheet, and then I'm going to kind of push my stamp just to lightly roll it to the edge so that it goes off the edge here. So you can see how it went off of the edge of the one sheet onto the edge of the other. We're going to do a similar type of thing on the other side with the small sailboat. This one's going to be mostly off. But again, start on the top sheet and kind of just gently roll it to the side so you get nice coverage. And you're going to get a little line here in the middle where you have that little bump down. That's okay. We're going to get that covered up later. So don't worry about that. We're going to add some seagulls, again starting on the top sheet and rolling it down, and then a few more over here. They're really flying around. All right, now let's color in this scene a little bit. And I am going to color with, let's see, some balmy blue. So again, I'm not doing any shading with the Stampin' Blends, but I do love to color with them because this brush tip allows you to really lay down the color quickly. So you can make these cards very fast. So there's balmy blue in the light. I'm going to do Pool Party over here on this one. And I'm going to bring that color in to the middle there a little bit to kind of connect that image. It'll be covered up, but just in case you can peek underneath, we'll get that nice and colored in. Then we're going to finish with some crumb cake for the boat part of it. And then I want to add some water. So I'm just going to use the balmy blue, and you could go and use some of your sponging. You can do some sponging on the edge there. I'm just going to use the Stampin' Blends just because it's fast and I have a little more control when it comes to going around these boats. And I'm not going to go off the whole paper. Just going to kind of add a little bit here. There we go. Now we're going to take these two pieces apart. So we just tacked it into place. So we'll pull these apart and we're going to layer them onto a little mat. So this was 2.5, so this is going to be 2 5/8 by 3 1/8. So this will kind of create a little frame around this focal point piece. And we'll do the same with the background piece. Just a tiny bit more there. And we're layering this on a 4 1/4. It's the width of the card base by 3 1/8. So that creates a little frame there. Now we're going to use some dimensionals and pop this up over the top to finish this piece. Let's do one here in the center. I love the way this gives just some fun dimension to the actual focal point. Now see how it kind of just matches up? The birds match up, the boats match up. I love that. So it kind of goes off onto the second part of that layer. Now we're going to add that to a 4 1/4 by 4 1/2 sheet of balmy blue. So I'll just add a little bit of the snail adhesive to the back of this. And I want this to be close to the top. And make sure that's nice and lined up. Then I'm going to use just a little strip of the, what's it called? Come Sail Away Designer Series paper. So you don't need a lot of paper to make a little bit of pattern, a little bit of an accent on your pieces. So when, for example, if you're getting that paper share, you're going to have a lot of different pieces that you just need a little bit on each card project. You don't need to use a lot. It'll go a long way. So just a little strip there at the bottom. And let's adhere that to our card base. Line that up on the edges so it's nice and flush. And then we're going to finish up again with the baker's twine. I love this twine. So pretty. Tie that in a little double knot. And again, trim the edges just like the other card. So you can see when I'm doing a lot of these cards, I like to use similar techniques so that you don't have to have everything have something completely new every time. Use what you know. Use what you've used before and just use it in a different way. So fray these edges out. I just really like how that looks frayed. Okay. Let me just straighten that up to where I want it to be. Maybe I want it over here. I think I like it over here better. Kind of hugs that. Now you know we're not done. What do we need? What do we need? Let's add a little bit of the bling. This time you can color these if you want to, like we did for the other one. I'm just going to add a few here, mostly because I didn't like that I kind of trapped some white space in there. It's just kind of the images that we had available, but I'm just going to fill that in, and we'll use a little small one over here, or this is a medium size, so one of each size, just to give it a little something something, sparkliness. And then you can finish up the inside however you want to. You can put the anchor in there or any of the other images. There's the beautiful rope image that makes a nice border, and the compass, and different sentiments there too. So you could finish it up that way. Now I really love this card so much. I thought I needed to do, obviously I'm going to do a too cool version, but the first version I did didn't work out so great. So I thought I'll do my second version live with you. So we'll do that. So it's going to have the same look. We're just going to use a different stamp set. This time we're going to start with the soft suede color, again with the vertically folded. Set that aside. We're going to add those two pieces again with just a little tack of the snail. This time we're going to use Bird Ballad. What do you guys think about that stamp set? Do you like the birds? I'm going to stamp this beautiful bird image. Actually, let's start with the sentiment. That way it helps with positioning. So we're going to use the Early Espresso and a sentiment. Your friendship means the world to me. I just messed up. Yep. Okay. I hate when I bounced it. Oh, and I didn't give myself an extra piece. Usually I have extra pieces that I can use, but we're just going to go ahead. I'll have to remake it for my blog later. All right, this one is also an Early Espresso with the bird image, and that's going to just settle right in. And we're going to set that on the top piece, and then we're going to kind of gently roll it this way, gently roll it the other way. And we're going to color that in again with some Stampin' Blends. So we'll start with the birds. We'll color that in with Petal Pink. So I'm just using the light Petal Pink color and the brush tip end. I'm going to add a little bit of shading with the darker color. Now I noticed that a couple of my pieces here, like this one bled just a little bit. Make sure that your ink is nice and dry. Your blends will work fine if you don't do a whole bunch of blending over that. It won't bleed very much, but I did it so quickly it wasn't quite dry, and my ink pad was pretty juicy. So okay, I want to add in some blue for the flowers. This is the light pool party. And then some light old olive for the leaves. And then finally, some light soft suede for the branch. All right, so just like the other card, we're going to take those apart and mat them on the next size. And this is soft suede again. And then the background piece. On this background mat, we will pop it up. Just going to do a quick pop since I know I'm going to be redoing this. Can't have a blurry sentiment, that just isn't going to work. But we'll pop this up, add it to a pool party layer this time instead of the balmy blue. And I have a little piece of the Bird Ballad designer series paper to go on this one. So you can see how you can do the same style of card with a lot of different stamp sets. Just need a large image. I think one large image probably works better than the two, just so that you don't have a blank space in the middle. But it's just kind of a fun, it puts a little interest in the card. And then we're going to finish up this version with the pretty scallop trim lace. Just a nice soft texture here. This is on back order right now, but it'll be back in a couple of weeks on June 24th. So no worries about that. It just was very popular, obviously. It's such a pretty ribbon. So we'll add that. And then, of course, a little bit of bling. This time we're going to use some pearls since we kind of have a softer look with that ribbon. Just going to add a few, few of these little pearls. And there you go. So there is the Bird Ballad version. Which do you like better? Aside from my blurry sentiment. Do you like that it's kind of a masculine version and a feminine version? Pretty cool, huh? All right, so those are our projects for today. I hope that you really enjoyed these two cool techniques. I know that this one is so much fun to do, just a little pop-up. And the masking, you could do all kinds of blended color combinations with that. So you can definitely make that work with a lot of different images. Actually, I mentioned that I cased that from a card. This was the card that I cased it from. That I don't even know when I blogged about this, but it was the Pretty Wetland set, one of my all-time favorite stamp sets. And I love that color combination. I did a lot of sponging on that. But it just goes to show you, you can use that same stepped layering technique for lots of different stamp sets and different images. All right, everybody, thank you so very much for joining me. Don't forget you can purchase these products at toocoolstamping.com. If you place an order, be sure to use the host code so that you can get the faceted dots for free with a $75 purchase. And I hope that you're having so much fun ordering from the brand new catalog. It really is phenomenal, and it's always an exciting time of year when we get to see a bunch of brand new products and get them in our hands and play with them. So if you have any questions about anything, you're always welcome to let me know. I'm happy to help you, and I will see you next week. Same time, 9 a.m. on Thursday, we'll be doing another Facebook Live with Too Cool Projects. Until then, this is Angie with toocoolstamping.com. Thanks. Bye-bye.